Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for being on the Realty Ruckus. I am not Alan Hernandez. This is Jabron Hernandez, and I'm here live today with David Bonilla. We got Brandon over here in studio helping produce the show, and we've got a good one for you. We got a lot of cool information, and actually, I just received this Texas Realtor magazine in the mail, and I like to go through these because they usually give you some pretty neat information that you just don't really find anywhere else. And one of the articles that I found was something that we talk about quite a bit, and it's something that came up in our conversation last night at the Redneck Country Club when I was talking with some of our real estate agents, and it has to deal with reducing your commission. Now, agents seem to feel like this is something that almost every client asks about, every client is saying, will you reduce your commission? Are you willing to negotiate that commission down? And what's really interesting is that they actually surveyed just that in this article. And it turns out that they're not right about it being every client.
No. Yeah.
But
it just seems that way.
It just seems that way. But here's what's interesting. It does happen about 1/3 of the time. 33% of sellers asked to negotiate the commission or the fee. Now, that part isn't that surprising to me. Fine, that happens all the time. Clients ask to negotiate the commission. What really surprised me was how many agents were willing to negotiate that commission. If I had to ask you, and you've got it here in front of you, so this is like a cheater.
I already seen it. We should ask the audience.
Yeah, if you didn't know, what would you have guessed? How many agents are actually willing to reduce their commission after being asked?
So out of the ones asked,
What? How much, Brandon?
90%.
Brandon says 90%.
Okay, so he didn't see the article.
Yeah, he doesn't
I saw it, but I would have thought like half or less.
I would have thought so too. I would have thought it would have been about half of all the agents that actually are willing to negotiate their commission. It actually is a lot higher than that. It was 70% of all those agents that were asked if they're willing to negotiate their commission, they're willing to negotiate it down. And here's what's nuts, man. I'm about to tell you a story that's just going to blow you away. So one of our agents here in the office, I won't tell everyone who he is because I don't know if he wants people to know this or not, but he was working on trying to get this listing. And he met with the seller, and the seller really liked him and said, yeah, we're going to go with you. And then he calls him back 3 days later, and he's like, actually, I decided to go with a different realtor. And so he asked him, what was different about that realtor service that made you want to go with him? He said, well, no, there's nothing really different about the service. It's just that he's going to charge me less. And so our agent said, I don't want to take the listing if I'm going to have to get paid less. It was a $100,000 house. I mean, 1% is a big deal on a $100,000 house. And so he says, I don't want the listing. Well, as luck would have it, he has a buyer who became interested in that property. Now, just to give you guys an idea, it's now been listed for 2 months and it's had nothing, no activity. So he brings his buyer in and he's like, hey, look, I have a buyer who's really interested. I want to go ahead and I want to submit an offer. And the agent says, well, I just need you to know that the commission on this one isn't a full commission. And so our agent says, well, how much is a commission? You mean like 2% instead of 3%? He's like, no, it's more like 1%. He's like, man, 1%? Really? And he goes, yeah, but it's 1% split between the two of us. Somehow. Now you want to know how he got that listing because he basically took it for free.
Oh, my God.
And I don't think that agent realizes at the end of the day, after all his expenses, his time, his pictures, putting the lockbox on there, putting the sign out there, everything that you have to do. And I guarantee you, all he did was put it on the MLS. He didn't do any other marketing. Because what budget would he have? He's working to make $500, and that's before whatever split he has with his brokerage. So at best, let's say he has zero split, like he pays nothing. It's his own brokerage. He's going to keep $500 from that listing. Yeah. That's crazy to me. And now you wonder why the house hasn't sold. Well, because the other agents that are out there showing it, No one wants to go over there and represent a buyer and go through all of that for
No.
a 0.5%.
Absolutely not. And what's crazy to me, and what makes this number a little bit more believable, actually, is I was talking to an agent yesterday who they themselves did not even see the value in realtors. And they were kind of like, well, you know, the sellers can just do it on their own. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there in front of this agent like, you're a real estate agent. How are you, like, you don't even have faith in your own profession? And I don't know, it was just crazy to me, but it just opened my eyes to the fact that there's real estate agents out there that have that same bias as the consumers do, that we are overpriced, basically.
No, absolutely. And it just really blows me away. And here's the thing. I know that some people are going to argue and they're going to say, well, you know, sometimes like a really expensive bottle of wine is not really that good of wine. Yeah. You don't really get what you pay for. No, I'm sorry. I hate to break this, but you do get what you pay for in real estate because that agent is being compensated for what they do. Mm-hmm. Now, are there agents out there that charge 3% and they suck? Yeah, that happens too. But overwhelmingly, the agents that are discounting down to 1% or even 0.5%.
I've never heard that.
That was the first time I'd heard 0.5%. They're not going to provide a quality service. It's just almost impossible because where do they get that marketing budget from? How can you go out there and buy URLs, create websites, do Facebook ads, send out postcards, go out there and get the neighbors interested in the house?
He can't even pay his split or his E&O insurance on that transaction. There's
exactly.
No way.
It's nearly impossible. And agents are doing it out of desperation to get a deal. And I get that sometimes our pipelines are slow and you want to pick up a transaction, but don't pay to work. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. And at the end of the day, he's basically paying to play. Now, when we get back, we're going to talk about how you can pay to not play or actually get paid to play in the game of buying houses.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
And get you into a house without any money out of pocket.
Listen up, millennials.
I don't mean it like the old what do they call those? The commercials. The commercials that come on where they're like, buy a house with no money out of pocket. Oh, it's not one of those. This is a legitimate way to buy a house without any of your own funds. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break. You're on the Realty Ruckus.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555. Or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is the place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure you reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, we were just talking about agents cutting their commissions and basically paying to play. Yeah. Because that's essentially you're paying to be able to act like a real estate agent and get a listing out there. Because with a $500 commission, let's be honest, you're not going to walk away with really anything if you were to calculate your expenses and your time and everything else. You're basically working for minimum wage, if not even less.
Much less.
But we want to get past that. We want to get into this conversation about how you can actually get paid to buy a house and not have to put any of your own money out of pocket. Now, when you brought this up to me, the very first thing that went off in my head was the old infomercials. That was the word I was looking for earlier. An infomercial, the ones on TV with like those old guys that are like, do you want to buy a house with no money out of pocket? Well, now it is possible. And I thought, okay, well, this is just a scam. But the more I look into this, it seems very legitimate.
It's pretty cool, and it's actually a crowdfunding platform. And so when a lot of people hear crowdfunding, they like kind of cringe, like, that reminds me of my like asshole friend who put up a crowdfund me to take a trip to Jamaica because they thought they deserved to have their vacation paid. You know, you see those, they're ridiculous out there.
Yeah.
And so when I actually first pulled up this article on Inman about a platform that's basically for crowdfunding a down payment, I was pretty skeptical, and I was like, that kind of sounds spammy to me, and it probably won't work. But then we started delving into the research, and we found that it's actually quite possible.
Well, my first initial thought was, I don't think any of my friends would actually donate to my down payment. That was my first thought. It's just because I don't know. To me, I don't like the thought of feeling like a beggar. Like, oh my God, please help me get a down payment so I can buy a house. And if you look at it that way, it may not be that interesting to you. You may say, this isn't something that wouldn't really work for me. But when you start to think about it, your friends, your very close friends, I'm not saying your extended group of friends, but your close friends, and especially your family, they're always open to helping you.
Yeah.
And whether it be $10, $25, $100, maybe your parents are willing to put $500, whatever that may be, it's a big help when you're about to buy a house, because buying a house is not only the expense that you put as a down payment. And all of a sudden, now you've got to buy furniture, you've got to buy home dressings, you've got to start mowing lawns. I mean, there's a lot of things that change.
A lot that goes into it.
Yeah, whenever you move into a house and you've been living in an apartment. So what I really, really like about this platform, and just so everybody knows, the platform is called Home Fund Me.
Yeah, it was started by CMG Financial, so they came up with this platform.
And CMG Financial is like a bank. It's a lender, right?
Yeah, it's a national mortgage banking firm, and they unveiled this new app basically to crowdfund for these down payments. And so we kind of started thinking about it, and we're like, okay, well, for a first-time home buyer, FHA, that's going to be 3.5%. They get a $200,000 home. That's decent somewhere around here in the suburbs.
$7,000 down payment that they would need. Yeah,
$7,000. So you're like, okay, how are my friends and family going to actually give me $7,000?
Yeah.
But then when we started looking at the program, and they actually help match what you raise, which is really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the coolest part of this. So let's say that David puts up the Home Fund Me. He's like, hey, what's up? He gives a really compelling story, how him and his wife and his 2 kids want to buy their first home. And he's saying, hey, if you're my friends, if you're my family, you want to help me out, donate whatever you can, even if it's $1, donate $1. And why? Because this company, and was it
CMG Financial? CMG
Financial, they will actually match every dollar with $2. So if I say, I'm going to give David $5, CMG Financial says, well, we're going to give David $10.
Yeah.
So now my $5 became $15 really quickly, and they're willing to do that up to $1,000.
Yes.
So if I donate $500 towards your down payment to your house, they'll donate $1,000 towards your down payment.
And boom, now you have $1,500 knocked out quick.
That's a really big deal. Now, it gets even better.
It does.
So I thought, okay, well, that's cool, $1,000, but $1,000 doesn't go that far.
It's not much,
if you don't make a huge income. Well, this is where they really thought it through, because what they said is, look, we're going to cap our match to you at $1,000. But if you make less than the median income in your city, So you
Yeah.
take a city like Houston.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, and Brandon, you can fact check this for me, but in Houston, I believe that the median income right now is $52,000. So if you make less than $52,000 a year.
Median household was 61K.
Okay, so median
That's
household was
household.
actually 61,000, not 52. So it's gone up since the last time I
And
checked
for
it.
actual Houston, I'm sorry. Those are other numbers. So yeah, for the metro area, it's 61,000.
So
household.
61,000 household income, that's the median right now. If your household makes less than 61,000, this platform will actually match not up to $1,000, they'll match you up to $2,500.
Yeah.
Now, considering that if you make less than that, chances are you're really buying like a $150,000 house, not a $200,000 house. Well, that 3% on 150,000 is only 4,500.
Yes.
So if they're giving you 2,500,
And they matched that.
that means that your friends and family gave you at least $1,250.
$1,250,
So
yep.
now you're at $3,750. You're only $750 away
Yeah.
from making a down payment on a house. Now it gets even better with this company. I'm telling you, I was blown away by this. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it when I started reading the article. And here's where it gets even better.
But wait, there's
but wait,
more.
there's more. Yeah, I know. It sounds like an infomercial. It really does. But it keeps getting better and better. The way that they improve that is they're able to set this up to where you have an employer portal. So let's say
Yeah.
White Picket Realty, you work for White Picket
Yeah.
Realty. We create the employer portal, and now you can choose to have some of your check be automatically deposited and contributed towards that down payment account.
Yeah.
And so now you're saving directly from your paycheck towards that. So that's $750. You could probably make that up in 2 or 3 months.
I know Alan's watching, so
She said, are those contributions taxable to the recipient? Now, they don't explain that.
they
but
didn't explain that. So let me do a little bit of research, see if I can find it while you talk about that employer portal.
Yeah, so, and what I was going to say is most times when you get a gift of equity, which is what this would be.
That's what I'm
count
thinking it would
as
be.
is kind of like a gift of equity. You do have to pay income taxes on the gift of equity. So whatever amount that you get as a gift, you would have to put that onto your tax returns as income. Now, there may be other things that are associated with this. They didn't explain that. The only thing that they explained is you have to go through that company, CMG Financial, because
you have
they're
to
the
get-
ones processing the
You have to get
loan.
pre-qualified with them before you can actually start your Home Fund Me campaign.
Correct. Yeah. So you have to go on there. You have to be pre-qualified, and then they will allow you to start the Home Fund Me campaign. And it's really easy. You go on there, you put your name, you put a picture, and you start to tell your story and why people should want to deal with your story. Now, David's on there on the website. It says, how do the withdrawals work? And it doesn't really explain. It just says that they send the money directly to the title company
They
through
send
a
them
wire.
they send them to an escrow account. They say, what about taxes and fees? There are none. Unlike other crowdfunding platforms that charge transaction fees and take a percentage, Home Fund Me does not impose taxes and fees on your collection of funds, but that doesn't cover IRS.
So-
what the IRS
Exactly. So
takes.
Home Fund Me doesn't take a percentage, which is really cool because
Yeah.
Kickstarter
Well, they're
takes
getting the loan.
5%. Yeah, they're getting
getting
the
the
loan
loan.
out of it. This is really a awesome way for them to get more loans. But I'm guessing, and I'd have to get a tax expert in on this one. I'm not a tax expert, but I'm guessing that you would have to pay income tax on the gift of equity that you received, which is going to be the money that you receive from your friends and family. I just think it's really freaking cool because a lot of places have restrictions on how much you can get as a gift, and according to this, they're not restricting it. They're whatever you raise, that can go all towards your down payment on your house.
And that's a really good question, Monica. I think we're going to have to delve a little bit further into this and research that and the tax implications. But to me, this is a really cool program. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is something not necessarily Gen X or baby boomers will be really into, but definitely millennials who are kind of used to these platforms, have crowdfunded, not necessarily their friend's vacation, but like cool board games and other cool things that they find.
Well, and I think you make a good point. If you're a baby boomer, you grew up in a generation of we do shit for ourselves. Like we work for ourselves. I don't need to ask anybody for
Yeah.
help. I'm self-sustained. And Gen X is very much the same way. Like, hey, I grew up in the 80s, 90s. I'm very self-sustained. I don't need help from anyone. As you get into the millennial generation, that changes a little bit because millennials have had to reach out to their friends and families for help in a lot of other areas. A lot of them are still living at home with their friends and family, and they're living in households with 3, 4, 5, 6 people living there. So they're more used used to that social environment as well as the crowdfunding websites. This is something that just popped up in the last 3 to 5 years, and crowdfunding got really popular. And they're even doing crowdfunding through real estate now. So this is something that I think you're right. The young generation, that millennial, the Gen Z, they're the ones that are going to be really interested in this. They're the ones that don't have a problem going online and saying, hey, help me fund my down payment on my house, because they're willing to go online and say, hey, help me fund my vacation in Jamaica. Why not?
That's right.
So
don't make me eat this Tide Pod.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Monica says it's still a great alternative. And I agree.
Yeah.
Because like I said, most other mortgage companies will only allow you to receive a certain amount as a gift. They want to see that you're bringing some of your own money to the table. And this mortgage company, it seems like they're not putting any of those restrictions. They're saying whatever your friends and family want to give you, we will apply that towards your down payment.
Yeah, and some of the scenarios they have in here, like at the bottom, giving examples for the Home Fund Me, how it works. They'll say, maybe the Smith family, they have $200 saved. They spend 2 weeks on Home Fund Me. Somehow they get $8,100 crowdfunded, plus a $2,500 grant, plus an unrealistic $3,000 realtor contribution. That would be a $15,000, $600 new down payment. I like the scenario down here better. Meet the Marks family. $10,000 saved. They fundraised for a month, got $5,000 on there. They got a $1,000 grant. No realtor contribution, but they still were able to get $16,000.
So in addition to the contributions, they still qualify for the government grants.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, because now when you add that grant onto what was raised, it really
you might really not have to bring anything to the closing table.
Absolutely. Or now you could save your money to buy that furniture. Now you can save your money to do the other things that you're going to have to do as a new homeowner. Yeah. I think it's really great. I think it's a great alternative for people who don't have a down payment. It's a good way to get buyers into houses. Now we just have to solve one problem. Do you know what that is?
Actually getting people to contribute to each other?
I actually think people will contribute to each other.
And they do have a track record of success so far. So
I think that the biggest problem that we're going to find is that there's not going to be enough houses. I think that as soon as people start using something like this, and I don't think they'll be the only mortgage company to do this. I think other mortgage companies are going to see this and they're going to go, oh man, that was genius. That was brilliant.
For the
and
people
they're going to start
that would
to
qualify, the houses are pretty tight in that area.
Exactly.
So
you're looking at the $150,000 to $200,000 houses. And let's be honest, where in Houston do you find a house at that price? And considering that Houston is one of the most affordable real estate markets in America, where do you find a house for $150,000 or $200,000 anywhere in the United States that's not going to be, as Alan would call it, Timbuktu?
Hey, and for those of you who are doubtful, the platform launched 6 months ago. They've helped 180 users get into new homes, and they've currently crowdfunded over $650,000 in funds on that platform.
That's incredible.
So it's working.
We don't typically promote other people's products and businesses, but I thought that this one was just far and beyond anything that I've seen. I think it's really awesome. And if you've got a buyer out there who may be able to get some crowdfunding, get them in there. I would love to see somebody run the program and let me know how it went.
Come on the Ruckus and let us know how it goes.
Absolutely. Guys, we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hey Houston, this is Alan Hernandez, and I want to remind you guys to visit our friends over at Quest IRA to learn everything there is to learn about investing with your IRA. Now, if you haven't been over there recently, you have to check them out. They have free educational classes, networking opportunities, the ability to tap into $1 billion for your real estate investing deals. These are the guys to know when it comes to learning about this kind of stuff. You want to make sure you visit them and check them out over at www.questira.com. Again, that's questira.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey guys, Alan here. Are you a home investor in need of house plans and permit expediting services? If so, Houston Plans and Permits is your local one-stop shop. They have over 15 years of professional design experience and have a strong team of knowledgeable permitting expediters to service all of your projects. Please contact them by calling them at 281-372-1555. Again, 281-372-1555, or visit them at their website, plansandpermits.com. Again, that's www.plansandpermits.com.
Hey Houston real estate agents, this is Alan Hernandez, broker at White Picket Realty. I want to let you know that when you're ready to stop working your real estate career and start building a real estate business, Team WPR is a place to be. Not only do we offer real results, real support, and real branding, but furthermore, 80 to 100% commissions of your hard-earned money going back to you. So make sure you reach out to us. Join at teamwpr.com. Again, that's join, Join, at teamwpr.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can find us live on Facebook and YouTube, where if you chat with us live during the show, we can answer your questions live on the air. Now, before we went to break, in our last segment, we talked about this company, CMG Financial, who has a program that allows you to crowdfund your down payment. So if you have good, cool friends that are willing to put money, I mean, some people do and some people don't. I don't know. I don't know what kind of results I would get. Maybe my friends would put some and maybe they wouldn't. But even if they're willing to put $1, this company is willing to match it with $2 up to $1,000. So that starts to add up really, really quickly. And it can help some of your buyers who maybe don't have anything or have a very small amount saved up, build up to that next level that they need to be at to get the house they want. Now, that is the biggest problem I think that we're going to face, is how do they actually find houses that they can afford?
Yeah.
And that brings me to my next article that we have here that talks about NAR putting out a report that is like a red flag report. Hey, everyone, make yourselves aware of this. Home prices are going up really, really fast, but income is not rising at the same rate.
Yep.
And it's interesting because it says that people who make the median household income. So here in Houston, we just found out it's $61,000. That's the median household income here. You can only afford 20% of the homes in your entire state.
Wow.
So if you make the median household income here in Houston, you can only afford 20% of the homes in the market here in Houston. Now, that is really crazy.
That is insane.
Because you have to imagine it's the median, so you believe about 50% of people fall within that median range or lower, which means that that 50% could only afford 20% of the homes that are on the market.
Yeah, so that means the people at the bottom, they're definitely never getting in a home.
Absolutely, and that's, I think, the biggest thing that we're facing. And in areas like Houston, where now we're having to build up way up high in the sky and 3-4 feet up in the air just to keep things from flooding, that's not cheap to do that. That's expensive. And that's continuing to rise the cost of owning a home and buying new construction. Look, I get it that in 2004, 2005, we had the huge mortgage crisis and builders all went out of business and everything else. Yeah. But I have to say one thing. Back then, you could buy a house even if you made very little. And it wasn't because of the mortgage regulations being super low. It was because houses were pretty cheap overall.
Yeah.
Builders were building for $45, $50 a square foot. They were selling houses that were $100,000 to $150,000. It was affordable within the income. But now you look around. I mean, I went out to Fulshire, which to me is the middle of nowhere. Like, it literally is out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing out there except like a Walmart that was built in a Kroger. But when you go out there and you look around, all the houses are $350,000, $400,000.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wait a minute.
Very fast growing
How
area.
are the people in this area able to afford buying these houses? You've got to make a much higher income than the median income to be able to even buy those houses. Where are people who make the median going to move?
So we keep seeing this over and over again. The supply of affordable housing is tightening and tightening. Less and less people are able to afford. First-time home buyers are still staving off that first-time home purchase. Where's all this heading? Can we get a BB Dalmas prediction here?
Man, I think that you're going to get a lot of people to get back into renting, and I think that renting is going to become a lot more affordable. I think that renting took this huge boom whenever people were buying houses and prices went up because you started to have less rentals available. I think you're going to have a lot more rentals available here in the coming years. I think that people that own houses are really going to take advantage of the fact that pricing keeps going up and inventory is dropping. But it's sooner or later, you got to see that bubble burst a little bit.
You think we're going to see a decline in prices?
I do think that we'll see a real estate bubble burst. I don't think it'll be to the same effect of the last burst because that wasn't a real estate bubble burst. That was a bad banking mortgage burst. That had nothing to do really with the real estate itself. Now we're actually seeing that there's not enough real estate out there at the prices that people need to buy. And at some point, you're going to see those high-priced homes start coming down.
They're going to have to.
In order, to accommodate the other buyers in the market. But unfortunately, we got to get into some events, and we're out of time for today. So let's talk about what we have coming up. Last night was Jet Lending. I know that Capital Concepts is doing their big networking event over at Chapman and Kirby.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Tell us about what events White Picket has coming up, and then we'll close out the show.
All right. Well, on the 24th, Capital Concepts is having their Chapman and Kirby event. I love that one. That's a great location. It's from 5:30 to 8:30. And I also know actually tomorrow, Nations Lending is having a crawfish boil from 3 to 6 p.m. up in the Tascosita area.
Nice. So
I know that because
there.
I personally hope to attend that. I still haven't gotten in on some crawfish, which is kind of disappointing.
Me neither.
Oh, all right. Well, so we need to set up a crawfish date then is what you're telling me. And then I'm really looking forward to this one. On May 7th, Team WPR is getting together for a team building event. And we're going to be going downtown, and we're going to be having a great scavenger hunt that actually Jabron and Elizabeth are going to be helping set up. We're going to be splitting up into teams, having a great scavenger hunt, and then afterwards we're going to get to wind down with our vendor partners and have some lunch and some drinks. And just really get to know each other better as a team. And so for those of you who are interested in learning a little bit more about our team culture and what it's like to be a part of Team WPR, we'd love to have you out. Just shoot me a quick email, David@whitepicketrealty.com, and I'll shoot you instructions on how to get signed up, and we'd love to have you out there. That's May 7th, and we'll be doing that from 11 to 2, 10 to 2.
From 10 to 2.
That's right.
Yeah, it'll be amazing race style. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be a ton of fun. All of our vendor partners that are out there, Maria Segura, Claudia Adriano Mills with the
America's Best
Credit Repair, they're all going to be out there. It's going to be super fun. So you got to make sure, catch us out there. We got to get off the show, though. That's it, man. We're out of time. These short shows, they go by so quickly.
Whew. All right, man.
Sweat it out over there. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. You're on the Realty Ruckus. Remember, you can catch us every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Take care.
Hey, Houston, this is Alan Hernandez.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.